Is my PPT visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so hello everyone. Today I would like to present on the topic of e-readers. So what exactly is an e-reader, you might be thinking. So e-reader is a mobile electronic device that is designed for the purpose of reading digital books. So any device that can display a text on screen can act as an e-reader. Then there has to be something special about them, right? So that is, they are more portable, they are more readable, and their battery life is really good. So this is what the older versions used to look like. They are very bulky and not easily portable. Like you can't take them everywhere.
Are you scrolling your slide?
It's actually in the animation mode.
It's not
but
visible.
that's not visible.
Wait a second. Is the cover screen visible?
Yes, now it's good.
And the first page?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so as I was saying, that this is what the older models used to look like, and they were really bulky and not really feasible to carry it everywhere, like on traveling and stuff. So they have been upgraded, and this is what the versions look like right now. They are more user friendly and sleek, and so you can carry them anywhere and everywhere, like while you're traveling or before you go to bed you want to read something. So that is when it is really easy to use them. So now let's talk about a little more on the technology that it uses. So e-reader technology, it moves at a very slow pace, and actually people are happy with what they have right now in these devices. That is because the technology actually lacks a lot of innovation. Now that is because the scientists don't have a lot of money to invest, like hundreds of thousands of dollars they have to invest to just upgrade the tech screen, and that they are not willing to invest in. So this is what we actually have right now. The technology is called e-ink. The ink that is used in the e-readers, that is called e-ink, and it does not really have much competition in the e-reader space. Most commercial e-readers use the same e-paper screen technology that is known as e-ink Carta HD. It normally provides a 300 pixel per inch experience on the 6 to 7 inch screen. It makes the text razor sharp and the pages turn really fast. So that actually makes us feel that we are reading a book and not from a tablet. So so this technology is useful in that way, that it gives the sense that we are reading books. So you must be thinking, what is e-ink? So e-ink is a display technology that aims to replicate the appearance of ink printed on paper. Such vast majority of displays are only capable of displaying black and white ink. Now the color technology has been available for many years, but since we are just reading, the black and white display is way more popular. So how does this work? So in e-ink display, a clear fluid is used to suspend millions of tiny capsules filled with black and white pigment. The black pigment is negatively charged while the white is positively charged, and the fluid layer is sandwiched between the two electrode layers, which are divided up into regions. Now, each such region is known as a pixel in display, and this whole process is known as electrophoresis. Now this is now depending on how the layers are charged, the ratio of pigment in each region changes, and that ratio is what produces varying degrees of grayscale on the screen. this is what the capsule looks like with negative and positively charged color particles. So now, as you can see in this picture, the bottom electrode is positively charged. So that causes the white pigment to move on to the top layer of the fluid, and the black settles down. So this is how we see the white color on the screen. Similarly, when the bottom electrode is negatively charged, it produces a negative electric field. The black pigment is pushed towards the top of the fluid, and the white settles down, and that is how we see the black color on the display. But then what happens to gray? How can we see gray? That is when the bottom electrode has positive as well as negative electric field. And depending on the varying amounts of positive and negative, the black and white pigment is pushed to the top of the layer, and that is how we have lighter to darker shades of grays. So unlike an LCD display, which requires constant power to keep the contents of the display on screen, e-ink only requires power to change the polarity of electrodes on a per region basis. Sounds heavy, but it is actually really simple. It means that your e-reader only uses power when it turns the pages, and that is how an e-reader can last up to 1 month on a single charge. Sounds pretty good, right? Which is really unlike your smartphones, which we have to charge every day. E-ink devices can reduce power consumption even more by only changing the pixels that need to be changed per page turn. Now, this means that if a particular pixel stays black from one page to the next, nothing needs to be changed and no power needs to be expended. However, over time, some pixels may become stuck and refuse to change even with new polarity. This results in an imprint of text which stays even after the page has been turned. This phenomenon is known as ghosting and is usually fixed by a full page refresh. Now that is why every so often the screen flashes completely black, then white, and then back to the page. A few of you might be thinking, what about reading in the dark? Like we like using our phones or reading at night. So is reading in the dark with a Kindle or any Nook really good for our eyes, or does it stress our eyes out? So let's see about that. So since the e-ink's reflective nature makes it perfect for reading in bright light, but because it cannot emit any light by itself, it can't be read in the dark. Now this was for the earlier models. Now since they have been upgraded, let's see what the newer models have for us. So nowadays, upmarket e-readers have a built-in lighting feature which lets you read in the dark. Lighting is also useful during the daytime when you need to adjust contrast. Rather than using black light, most e-readers actually use LEDs mounted along the inner side of the display that shines light across a thin layer of translucent plastic. So this distributes the light evenly across the surface and makes the entire page legible. As you can see in this pic, there are LEDs along the edge of the e-reader, and that is how we can read the text on the page, on the screen. So since with the use of these LEDs, extra energy is bound to be consumed. So your battery life that used to last for around a month may get drained in 2 to 3 weeks, but that is still really good. So most e-ink displays are not back illuminated and therefore seem to cause no more eye strain than a traditional book, and that is much less eye strain than an LCD screen. So everything has its pros and cons. So these were the pros. Now let us see about one of the major cons of these devices. And that is the introduction of e-readers has awakened fear, and it has been predicted, and it had been predicted that that there is a possible disappearance of books and printed materials. As we have all seen during the pandemic, we have all preferred the use of PDFs over actual books. So that is the same thing that a lot of people are experiencing regarding the e-readers, and it might lead to calling books antiques. So I would like to conclude my presentation by listing a few of the popular e-readers that are available in India. You must be knowing about Amazon and its product called Kindle. Now, Kindle has various versions like Paperwhite, Voyage, Oasis, and Oasis 2. Similarly, there is another company called Kobo. Kobo has its versions called Kobo Touch, Glow, Mini, Aura, Aura HD, and Clara HD. Then there's another known as Onyx Books Note Air and Barnes & Noble No Chloride 3. Thank you.